has supported. Yeah, I mean he's an interesting guy, man, because he's so friendly.
Right.
You know, like Pat, even like when people are trash talking, he's like smiling, and then he gets in that ring.
Kick your ass later.
Different dude.
You know, and it's,
Seeing him beat Keith Thurman at 40 years old, like, God, this guy's great. I mean,
Right.
Just look at his career with 8 different weight classes, world titles in. Eight different weight classes. 40 years old, beats Keith Thurman, who's in his prime.
Right.
Crazy. I mean, what a man.
Manny went up 8 weight classes.
Yeah.
And kept his knockout power.
He's fighting as a little boy and then just was like...
No one saw it coming. Not now. Not like this. Boxing fans woke to headlines that read like fiction. Manny Pacquiao, 46 years old, is stepping back into the ring. Not for an exhibition. Not for charity. For a real, sanctioned world title fight. The opponent? Mario Barrios. Young. Sharp. Active. The reigning WBC welterweight champion. And then came Joe Rogan, the voice of combat sports, part skeptic, part prophet. His take wasn't polite or sugar-coated. But it wasn't dismissive either. Because in a sport where most legends fade quietly, Pacquiao returned like a thunderclap. To some, it's madness. To others, it's fate. The fans aren't just watching a fight. They're watching a resurrection, or a reckoning. Will the legend rise again, or be crushed by the future? This isn't just another bout. It's a question whispered across gyms, podcasts, and press rooms. Can Manny Pacquiao still win? Or will this be the night the dream finally dies? His legacy doesn't need this. 8 division titles. 70 fights. Hall of Fame status already secured. And yet, just weeks before his official induction into boxing immortality, he's lacing the gloves again. Some call it ego. Others say desperation. But those closest to Pacquiao? They call it unfinished business. This isn't a farewell tour. It's a final war. At 46, he's not just fighting Mario Barrios, he's fighting time, gravity, and every critic who said he should have stayed retired. Across the ring stands a man who doesn't fear legends. Barrios, 28, is fresh off a dominant win streak. Newly crowned after Terence Crawford vacated the belt. He didn't ask for Pacquiao, but when the name came up, he didn't blink. For Barrios, this isn't just a title defense. It's a shortcut to immortality. Beat Pacquiao, and you don't just keep the belt, you end the myth. July 19th isn't just a date, it's a pilgrimage. Filipino flags flood the Vegas Strip. Old posters from De La Hoya and Hatton Knights are coming out of storage. Mothers bring sons to witness what they once watched with their own fathers. Because this isn't just a fight. It's something generational. On the same card, Manny Pacquiao Jr., just 23, makes his professional debut. A son stepping in as his father steps out. Guided by Freddie Roach and Marvin Somodio, the younger Pacquiao enters with a modest amateur record, but no one's watching his stats. They're watching to see if the fire passed down still burns. Some say it's too soon. Others say he was born for this. And while the Pacquiaos dominate the headlines, the undercard promises its own chaos. Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Tszyu, a rematch born from blood and controversy. Their last war left fans divided and judges sweating. Now, with the cameras rolling, they settle what's still unresolved. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, rumored to face Angel Fierro, brings his trademark pressure. No dancing. No patience. Just forward motion and violent intent. From top to bottom, July 19th feels less like a fight night and more like a farewell concert, except the opening act is the future. A father. A son. A last shot at glory. It's the most emotional card boxing has seen in years. And every fighter on it is chasing more than a win. They're chasing a place in history. Because to be Manny Pacquiao, you don't just fight opponents. You fight biology. Most fighters in their 40s limp through training. Pacquiao. He explodes. He shadowboxes with the rhythm of someone half his age. His pads crack like hummingbirds with TNT in their wings. But as Joe Rogan has long said, there's a secret weapon. General Santos. His hometown. His heartbeat. Even now, in his 40s, Pacquiao's footwork tells a different story than his birth certificate. Recent training footage didn't go viral because he looked young, it went viral because he looked dangerous. The bounce is still there. The burst. But behind every highlight lies the question fans don't want to ask. Can those legs still carry the weight of war? Barrios won't wait to find out. He doesn't talk trash. He doesn't need to. His style is clean, lethal, methodical. You don't see it coming, but you feel it when it lands. He's not a knockout artist. He's a problem solver with power. And right now, the equation favors youth. Against Yordanes Ugas, Pacquiao looked hesitant, half a beat slow. Barrios won't offer him that luxury. He brings pressure, volume, confidence. And while cameras stay on Pacquiao, Barrios...
Manny Pacquiao, in the middle of his prime, said, "I'm going to fight MMA." That would be insane. And he'd probably get his face kicked off. Probably get strangled. Probably get taken down, strangled, and he would be helpless. It's a different skill set. There's so much more to...
is quietly preparing for the moment of his life. Not to scrape by. To win clean. To end it without debate. Because if he walks out with his hand raised, he's not just the man who beat Pacquiao. He's the one who buried the myth. And by the time the gloves are laced, the fight may already be half won. Not in punches, but in psychology. This is mental warfare disguised as respect. Manny Pacquiao has always been a quiet storm. No trash talk. No drama. Just prayer, tape, and work. On July 19th, the storm returns. One last time. The final press conference. Mario Barrios sat composed. Calm on the outside. But beneath the surface, the pressure seeped through, in flickers. Clipped answers. Dry chuckles. Pauses where confidence should have lived. He's not just fighting Manny Pacquiao. He's fighting the weight of what beating Pacquiao would mean. That kind of legacy doesn't just share the ring, it haunts...
You are an all-time great and a legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return? Why not just go pursue other things? If anything, do those little cheap expedition fights that you did last year, or those that are similar to that of what Floyd Mayweather keeps
it. Pacquiao, meanwhile, walks through the chaos like he's been here 100 times. Because he has. More times than Barrios has fought professionally. He reads scripture in the locker room. He smiles on media day. He pats his opponents on the back with genuine warmth. Moments before he tries to knock them unconscious. That's the paradox that unnerves everyone. He's a man of God. And a man who's made a career out of breaking jaws with blistering combinations. That calm. It's not serenity. It's danger wrapped in grace. Barrios has said all the right things in the lead-up. But so did Keith Thurman. So did...
A Félix el de rojo y otra vez el gancho. Tiene que estar llaveando y también aprovechando. Que es... ¡Opa! Vámonos a la lona con la derecha, la zona de las costillas. La izquierda.
Miguel Cotto. What separates Pacquiao isn't just speed or power. It's how he weaponizes silence. A calm so loud it drowns out doubt, and sometimes, even opponents. Joe Rogan's dilemma. Joe Rogan has followed Manny Pacquiao longer than most. He's watched from the front row as the Filipino icon re-wrote.
Yeah,
When you look at
massive.
that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
And I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big. Because he's always constantly running mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah. Pacquiao's footwork.
Boxing physics. Steamrolling legends. Jumping weight classes. And now, with Pacquiao's return at 46, Rogan finds himself in a strange place. Split between admiration and realism. He's said it before, Pacquiao is a miracle in gloves. But is also a 46-year-old man entering a division where youth reigns. It's like if Pacquiao, in his prime, said, "I'm going to fight MMA." It'd be insane. He'd get his head kicked off. Rogan doesn't doubt the Warrior's will. What he questions, like many others, is the cost. While headlines praise Pacquiao's footwork and training clips, Rogan sees something else. Mileage. Scar tissue. Quiet erosion. The stuff slow-motion replays never show. Still, one thing is undeniable, Pacquiao brings fire. Even when logic says no, the crowd says yes. He's the golden goose. The ticket seller. The miracle everyone secretly wants to see one more time. But what if he wins? Nobody really wants to talk about it. Because if Pacquiao wins...
everything, that played into that fight, it did bring a lot of attention, and I think it was the perfect fight fit for that.
Wins, boxing might not know what to do next. A 46-year-old defeating a prime champion for a world title. That's not just a headline. That's a detonation. The WBC would face an avalanche of questions. Does Pacquiao unify? Retire on top? Defend against someone younger, faster, hungrier? And what about the rankings? The contenders who've waited years for a title shot. All leapfrogged by a living ghost. As one analyst said, it's a big money move, but it's also completely wrong. If Pacquiao wins, the fight ends. But the chaos begins. Because a Pacquiao victory doesn't just bend boxing logic. It shatters it. It forces the future to wait while the past refuses to fade. The countdown begins. As July 19th approaches, the sport buzzes with anticipation. Pacquiao's return has reignited debates about age, legacy, and the raw spirit of champions. At Wildcard Boxing Club in Hollywood, longtime trainer Freddie Roach watches his fighter with a blend of awe and caution. Their bond, forged through decades, shows in every mid-session, every exchange of quiet strategy. Roach admits the tension. He wants one more, Roach says. Then his wife calls and says, "Don't let him fight." I try to agree with her, but when a fighter wants to fight, he's going to fight. Echoes from the ring. Former opponents are weighing in. Timothy Bradley, who faced Pacquiao 3 times, doesn't mince words. "I was scared. Flat out scared. You see it on film, but in the ring, it's different. It's bullets. Sharp, stiff punches. Lightning feet. Nothing prepares you for Pacquiao in real time. Even now, in his mid-40s, Pacquiao moves like a man who refuses to be measured by age. The bigger picture. Beyond the boxing world, the narrative is reaching something bigger. It's not just about a comeback, it's about belief. It's about whether a fighter can break time. Whether greatness has a limit. And whether, for just one more night, a legend can outlive his own